start talking about football in November. Every game is important.
One game at a time, one play at a time, but you're focused on this moment.
I'm gonna rise to the top.
Everyone's down here. We're built for it.
So the bet is, baby.
You go out here and take something that belongs to you. That's what you do. You go take what belongs to you.
All it takes is 1 week to be off, and your season can get ruined. Our goal is to play for championships.
I'm gonna rise to the top.
I mean, no truer words. It only takes one Saturday, and your season can absolutely go to trash. We saw that for a contender. We saw contenders rise up and take what was there to be taken, and we're going to spend the next hour reacting to all of it. It's the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. Skubie. Man, I feel like every Saturday we spend the entire day sitting in this room. We got this fancy pants room at ESPN with all these TVs, and we sit there and we yell and scream at the TV. I felt like today we spent the entire day sitting there saying, oh my. It was a train wreck of a Saturday with
Seriously.
a bunch of, I couldn't stop watching it, but it was not fun to watch for some of these teams.
There was at one point when we were watching where Fitz and I had to look at each other like, man, I almost want to look away, but I just can't stop watching this madness.
Yeah, this was the Saturday that felt like your friend from high school that's just a total wreck of a human being, but you still sneak on their Facebook page every once in a while to see what's going on. Like, that's what we were doing all day. We kept popping over and we're like, oh, God, it's only getting worse. And we'll start with the big game, obviously, that everybody had their eyes on. This was the biggest, baddest example of it as Michigan State took on Ohio State.
Man.
There was a lot on the line for Michigan State. There was a lot on the line for Ohio State. And this thing was an absolute slaughter. We pick it up here. The dime to Olave for a 23-yard touchdown, put him up 7-0. Next Buckeye possession, Garrett Wilson.
Another one.
Woo!
That was 2 nickels.
I mean,
which
2
equals
nickels.
a dime.
Yeah, before they could even figure out what was going on, it was 14-0. Second quarter, Stroud again says, you know what, Olave, oh. Let's get another one.
Bang, bang.
43 yards makes it 21-0.
Pass the sticks. It's 21 skunk.
21-0 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Stroud says, you know what, this Olave guy seems pretty good. I think he's going to play on Sundays. I shall get him the ball again. Beautiful adjustment to this catch. Absolutely
insane.
Gorgeous. Like, they should have just given him the touchdown there simply because it was
this
great.
is why they say they have the best wide receiver crew in the country, because they can do things like that.
Yeah, well, and then Williams, not the starting running back, their second running back, tough runner, gets a 1-yard touchdown. Picking up here later in the second quarter, Stroud turns out and says, you know what? I'd like Jackson Smith and Jigba to get in on the fun here.
You know
5-yard touchdown. This is in the first half still.
The defenders ended up falling in the back, and they opened it up to give him that touchdown. This was an absolute bloodbath, Fitz. It was ugly to watch. They broke records. The wide receivers for Ohio State had almost 450 yards receiving.
I mean, 42-0 at the half. And I want, like, you just saw the stat line there. There's two different sides to this. Number one, Ohio State, where we saw C.J. Stroud come in 32 of 35, 6 touchdowns. He did what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted to do it. And Sparty had no answer for it. Now, coming into this game, over the last 6 games, Michigan State had the lowest ranked passing defense in the country. Not one of, the. So they came in with the worst pass defense in the country against a passer that was the 7th most efficient in the country over the last 6 weeks. So we knew this was going to be strength on weakness for Ohio State. But Skubie, man, even when you know it, you don't expect that level of bloodbath from 2 teams that are supposed to both be good. Michigan State did not look like they belonged today.
And the game flow did not play in their favor at all. You and I were discussing, hey, they should be giving the ball to Kenneth Walker a lot more. I mean, this guy only had 5 carries, 5 carries in this game, and he's supposed to be that Heisman favorite. And Olave and his whole crew really took over this game. And I was looking. We have the 2 TVs next to each other. We have the Georgia game and the Ohio State game next to each other. And with 4 minutes left in the Georgia game in the first half, they were up 49-0. With 6 minutes left in a top 7 match, they're up 49-0. It was ugly.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, I know I don't want to pile on for Sparty here, but frankly, not only were you outplayed, you were outcoached. I mean, C.J. Stroud, 8 for 8 for 80 and a touchdown when facing a blitz in the first half. But what's remarkable about that is they mentioned on the broadcast that you could see they were sending the linebackers on virtually every play. And all Ohio State was doing was stepping back saying, okay, We got that. Like, if you're going to send that, then if you're going to put your guys in man, we're going to abuse you in man. And we were talking to Harry Douglas, our buddy, about that. Like, this was a bad game plan that was poorly executed by Michigan State. Like, it was a combination of all different layers in this.
Yeah, and you could see, I mean, C.J. Stroud tied OSU's passing touchdown record in the first half alone. They pulled the guy by the third quarter, just sitting there, dancing, kicking it, chilling with the homies. But the man coverage thing is something that I saw early on, because you could see the wide receivers running in open places. They would basically run towards Green, and if you got wide receivers who are quick and explosive, they can make a move and run by your DBs. And we knew coming into this game that MSU had one of the worst passing attacks in the entire country, and I feel as if they didn't really help out their defensive backfield with the way that they played.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, situationally, like, I feel like everybody panicked. I felt like Michigan State was panicking on the field. I felt like the coaching staff panicked in the game calling, even when they were down 21-0. When you think about the fact that, as crazy as this sounds, they've been in big holes this year, and they deferred. They were going to get the ball first in the second half. I still kept thinking, you know what, Michigan State's going to slow this down, and they're going to figure out a way to get themselves rolling. And they never did. So, one of us on this show, I won't say which one, had Ohio State as the second-ranked team in the country last year.
So.
I had them last week. So, I think this is also a statement of how stinking good Ohio State is. If I was on the committee, last week I said they'd be number 2. This week I think firmly they are the second best team.
And this is about making a statement, right? We're at that point of the season where you have to do more than win. And then as soon as we saw that first half score, you and I were joking around saying Ryan Day should have came up to the sideline reporter and been like, oh, man, I knew we were good, but I didn't know we were that good.
Yeah.
We're throwing the ball well. Good God Almighty. We're running the ball well. I'm going to go in there and just get my guys and tell them to be ready to relax in the third quarter.
Yeah, Ryan Day should have gone into the half and called his agent and said, Mel Tucker's getting paid how much? All right, speaking of Michigan State, you can't have every action without an opposite reaction. That would be Michigan. Michigan taking on Maryland. Cade McNamara looking cool, calm, and collected, getting ready for this one. Rightfully so, he finds Donovan Edwards here for the 15-yard gain. A lot of work after the pass, after the catch there. Nice angle. Wolverines go up 7-0 here because of Luke Schoonmaker getting the 2-yard touchdown. Now, it was 7-0 early. Took a second to get rolling, but once they got rolling, there wasn't much there that Maryland could do about it. We pick it up here. J.J. McCarthy in for McNamara at this point.
Ooh. Way to make a play, my guy.
That is a beautiful, beautiful catch. Anytime you can go up, and away, and come down with the ball like that. Well done. That puts them up 14-3 at that, 21-3 at that point, giving them what turned out to be an insurmountable lead. Picking it up here, Maryland kicking off. Michigan's 31-0 at this point. A.J. Henning says, you know what? What would be fun? Well, how about a little bit of trickery? I don't know why you burn your trickery when you're up 31-10 in this game. Like, I get that every game matters, but if I'm Michigan, I would have kept that game in the playbook, Scooby. I would have waited.
Yeah, they're trying to show everybody that they got more in their bag, and they deeped into their bag, digging than the fries at the bottom.
Well, McNamara back in the game here finds Donovan Edwards for a 77-yard touchdown. Wolverines at that point go up 45-18. And Michigan was making sure everybody knows, hey, we're ready, because next week is the game, right? Next week, it's going to be Michigan versus Ohio State. We all know Harbaugh has no track record there, so they wanted to show the world that they were absolutely ready for this. Talia Tagovailoa, by the way, 19-33, 178 touchdown and interception. I mentioned him because in this game, especially early on when the game was tight, Maryland had opportunities to score touchdowns, and he just did not take advantage of them, and he missed some open receivers in the end zone, and you could see him getting into his own head. They mentioned it on the broadcast, I think smartly, that the coaching staff has said he's too hard on himself when things are going right. You could feel that in this game, Scooby, and the minute he missed a couple of guys open, instead of this becoming a game, this became a blowout. Kudos to Michigan for taking advantage of it, but to your point earlier, Michigan obviously understands style points matter because they kept the foot absolutely down on the gas for the entirety of this game. They were making sure to make a statement to the committee and everybody else.
And it's that time of the year. We can't say this enough of how much you have to make that point. You can't just beat these teams. You got to show them that you will beat them down. You are better. You are worthy to be in that top 4. And this is an impressive performance from Michigan. 59 points is Michigan's most against a Power 5 opponent in the last 5 seasons. And then to get that 21-point lead lead at halftime. That is huge for this program, showing what the committee has said is that they're a better all-around team because we have heard people bringing up Sparty beat Michigan. Why aren't they ahead of them? Well, now we see.
Yeah, and now there won't be any issue on this, at least until next week when Michigan gets beat by Ohio State also. All right, speaking of making a statement, Cincinnati needs to make it. Every week we're like, Cincinnati this week needs to make a statement. Well, I think they finally woke up and decided that it was time to make that happen. Desmond Ridder going up top here. This was their first offensive play. 53-yard touchdown to Tyler Scott.
It's statement week. Make it, baby.
I mean, they wasted no time. Picking it up here, Jerome Ford says, you know what? I like the booty also. Swiggity swooty, I shall go for it. 14-0. We'll pick it up. Still in the first. Their defense decides to get in on the fun. You got to hold on to the football, SMU.
Oh, my Lord. SMU really struggled today. They didn't even look like a complete team, and they made this Cincy defense look like SARS.
Yeah, second quarter here. Ridder says, you know what? I can do it with my legs, too. Watch this. Turbo button. Whoop. Oh, he's going for it.
He's got one of those long strides where it doesn't look like he's going fast, but he's really gliding.
Cincy would miss the extra point, though. 20-0. That did not come back to haunt them. Sneak peek. Ridder, Bearcats getting a little tricky here with a little Philly special. Ridder says, I shall throw for one, I shall run for one, I shall catch for one.
Why do teams keep falling for this?
Yeah, especially when you have a quarterback as athletic as Ridder is. I don't know why anybody falls for it. 48-14 in an absolute butt whooping. Now, I will give Cincinnati all the credit in the world as you see Desmond Ridder's stat line there. 3 touchdowns in the air, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. That's a very good day. Cincinnati needed to make a statement. They did today. They made the statement that they are absolutely ready to make their chance, their best case that they can make next week. This was a bit of a warm-up game. SMU ranked a few weeks ago. Things have gone off the rails for them. Houston next week, and presumably in the AAC championship game. That's going to be their big resume opportunity. But Cincinnati, we talked to Heather Dinich yesterday on the kickoff that we host on Fridays, and Heather made it very clear in talking to people around the committee that there is so much chatter around the negative of Cincinnati's schedule that there's a belief even if they win out, she feels less confident that they will be a playoff team. So I think Cincinnati hears that and knows they finally seem to put it together and say, fine, you don't just want us to win, you want us to whoop that ass, we will do it.
Exactly, and that's what you have to do at this point in order for you to make a statement, because we've been seeing them for the last 2-3 weeks just win. Look like a team that can just win. But today, they look like a dominant team. The thing about the playoffs, man, it's the top 4 best teams in the entire country. We need y'all to look as if you can hang with the big dogs. Can you hang with Georgia? Can you hang with Ohio State? Can you hang with Alabama? Do you have that team that can do it on all 3 sides, 3 phases of the game? And today, they actually look like that, when it was probably one of the most impressive wins.
Well, yeah, because like we told you earlier, we've seen impressive from Ohio State. We'll show you in a minute how we've seen impressive. If you're Cincinnati, you got to keep up with the Joneses that everybody else has. One team that also had a big matchup was Alabama taking on Arkansas. This is a ranked matchup for the Tide, 42-35, in a game that actually was as close as the score indicates. Now, I look at Bryce Young's day, 31-40 for 559 yards and 5 touchdowns. What was it? Sam Acho said the Arkansas defense flashes, and the problem with anything that flashes is sometimes it just flickers on and off. Today that defense was off. It did not help them. KJ Jefferson had a nice day for Arkansas. Alabama continues to struggle to hold back mobile quarterbacks that can get it done. I thought Arkansas gave Alabama everything they could handle, Scooby, but this is another big win for Alabama, and the committee has obviously thinks highly enough to rank Arkansas, so it has to mean something.
Oh, yeah, this most definitely means something. And it also means something in another sense, Fitz, that Heisman race. We didn't talk about it that much with the Ohio State game, but but that big game from Stroud was also a big game from Bryce Young. He broke the Alabama single-season record, and now he has the second most, passing record, now the second most passing yards in an SEC game this year with that game against Arkansas. So it's been nice to see them do this, and this is a huge win for them, seeing them perform like that.
Yeah, you're 1,000% right. Bryce made it look very easy against a defense that I, frankly, had a lot of respect for at one point this season. That defense, again, has been a little bit up and down. One defense that has not been down at all is Georgia. We expect greatness from Georgia, and Georgia today feasted on the cupcakes, hosting Charleston Southern.
I know you love cupcakes, Fitz.
Oh, man, with cream cheese frosting. That's the only thing I demand. Defensive lineman Jordan Davis is eating some cupcakes, and he used all that power to just take the handoff, plunge in for the 1-yard touchdown. Look at that. NFL fullback?
Good luck trying to tackle him, but shout out to the dude that went straight for his legs. Jordan Davis, the big man.
I mean, Jordan Davis is going to get paid. Zamir White here also going to get paid at some point. Takes the handoff, goes 40 yards to the house. Look at the speed as he gets out there. That's Georgia up 28-0 after the first quarter. Now we pick it up. Jack Chambers' pass is tipped in the air. Picked off.
When you're a good team, you're in the right place at the right time.
But look at that. He ripped it out of the defender's arms.
What?
Rips it away and returns it 65 yards for the touchdown. How's that for hustle? Never give up on the play, kids, even when you're down 49-0. I love every ounce of that hustle as he says, wait, sir. Sir, that's my ball, thank you.
Hey, Mom, did you see? I scored a touchdown.
Still counts. And by the way, can we say he took his ball and went home with it? I think that's fair. Buccaneers down 49-7 at that point. Later in the third, Carson Beck with a 9-yard touchdown pass here. That's right, Georgia goes on to win this game 56-7.
Wow.
56-7. Not a lot. Look, I mean, there's just not a lot you can take away from a game like this. There isn't. We all know what it is. At some point, there are just in most team schedules, there are going to be cupcakes. You know how I feel about them. Not a fan of the actual cupcakes. I'm a huge fan. Cupcakes on the schedule, not a big fan. But as long as the NCAA is going to allow teams to schedule games out of conference that are cupcakes, that's going to happen. Like, this is just one of those things that for everybody that yells about it, it's allowed. And so if it's allowed, and if you're a school like Charleston Southern, no disrespect, guys, they can pay your entire bill for a year. You can make your entire athletic budget for a single year by getting your butt kicked. I understand why they do it, but man, I hate watching it.
Oh, yeah. And it was a sheer beatdown, right, with the way that Georgia played. But then what the funny thing is, you look at that score. Let's look at that top 7 matchup, because that was also a beatdown with OSU and Michigan State, which is very similar in the final score. But shout out to Georgia for getting their job done. Even though it's a cupcake game, there are still athletes that you're going on the field and competing against, and they handle business the way that they were supposed to handle business.
So we've seen number 1 Georgia crush. We've seen number 2 Alabama get a win against a difficult opponent. We've seen Ohio State go out and crush. So the question is, what happens to the other team in the top 4? Oh, that would be Oregon, and they're playing tonight. Tonight, number 3 Oregon visits number 23 Utah. Primetime, that's on ABC. Molly McGrath is reporting from the sideline from the game and has been kind enough to get us this report from the action.
Molly McGrath here in Salt Lake City, Utah, getting ready to host number 3 Oregon tonight. Rice-Eccles Stadium, quiet right now, but it is going to be absolutely rocking tonight. The mighty Utah student section, one of the best student sections in all of the Pac-12. Mario Cristobal said he knows it's going to be rocking. It's going to be a big challenge for his team in this environment, and this is why Utah is favored in this. Travis Dye, I said, are you surprised you're the number 3 team in the country? You guys aren't favored in this game? And he said, no, we're used to that kind of disrespect. No one expects us to win big games. We are ready for it, though, and we're ready to prove everyone wrong. So it should be a great atmosphere, and a lot is on the line in this game. Whoever wins this game wins their division, clinches their division, and is going to the Pac-12 title game. So a lot on the line here in Salt Lake City.
Okay, let's not sneak past the most amazing part of that report from Molly. And Molly McGrath, one of my favorite people here, does great work. Did you notice she was at like the 4-yard line and then somebody almost ran into her and she just like inched her way over? So she started the report at like the 4, ended the report at the 1, and managed not to get hit. Like, I would have screamed like a child as somebody came running off, warming up. So, you know, Molly.
That's why we're in here all warm and she's out in the battlefield.
So this is where you can be the snarky jerk, not you, but everybody watching, can be the snarky jerk in the sports bar tonight and be right. You can go in and say, no matter what, this game will provide an upset. Because in my mind, if the number 23 team in Utah, in the country, that's an upset. But as Molly just referenced, according to Las Vegas, Utah is actually the favorite. So if you walk in tonight and say, hey, I think tonight's game is going to have an upset, you're going to be right either way. You'll be able to couch it however you want.
Great point
but what blatant disrespect if you're Oregon and you're sitting there saying, we're the number 3 damn team in the country and we're an underdog? Oh, I would be fired up if I played for Oregon in this one.
Exactly. And great coaches use this as fuel and motivation, correct? You're going to sit there in front of your team and you're going to say, hey, they think you guys are going to lose this game. You're third ranked in the country. You beat Ohio State. You should be in the playoffs, and you're going against a team that's barely cracking the top 25, and you're the underdog in this. We're not just going to win. We're going to crush them. And that's been the theme that we've seen today from these games. And Fitz, I'm saying it now, I think Oregon's going to crush them.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me because I've heard a lot of analysts say, hey, this game's going to be tough. In fact, Mike Oleg Jr., that I host Rankings Reaction with Mike and Christine Williamson, Mike has been saying for weeks, hey, I think this is going to be a really tricky game. But you see Anthony Brown here, the quarterback. I mean, not only is he a threat as a passer, he's a threat running the football. And this is really, I think what we sleep on sometimes in this is just how big and physical these teams are. And, I understand the concept of what the Pac-12 was and what the Pac-12 has been in the past. But as you just saw, Kayvon Thibodeau, who is likely going to be the first pick in the draft, you were talking about some maulers that go in and just absolutely hit. And when you're Oregon, you're talking about guys that can run the dang football. I think we're forgetting just how physical these teams can be. I think it's going to be a very physical matchup. But I think that Oregon, at the end of the day, their running backs are just they're bigger and tougher than Utah's ready to handle. So I think Oregon has the edge in this matchup.
Yeah, and you and I were talking with Sam Macho last night, and he said that a lot of people are underestimating how physical this Oregon team is. They can run the ball really well, and they love hitting. And he watched some film and saw that this Utah team tends to struggle. And this Oregon team, they want to run. They're going to come at you every single play, and it's going to wear you down over and over again, and it's going to happen on both defense and offense because, like I said, they like to run the ball, and they got that linebacker who is going to be playing on Sundays as the first overall pick.
Yeah, really, I think keep an eye on Oregon running around on the edges. If Oregon get to the outside running, I don't think Utah can stop that. So it did look awkwardly cold, though. It looked, when Molly was doing the sideline report, it looked colder than I think of Salt Lake City being, right?
I can see the cold in her face.
Yeah, I always forget how, it's Utah. Like the Winter Olympics have been there, but I always forget that. All right, I'm picking Oregon in this game. Are you picking Oregon?
You heard me. I think they're going to crush them.
Yeah, I don't think that but I will say this. We're in the small minority around here because so many of the experts we've been talking to seem to think that Utah's going to win this. The most incredible thing is that you can just authenticate, stick right here in the ESPN app. You can hang out. You can watch the game right here. You don't even have to go anywhere. One of the cool features of the ESPN app is that you can watch this game right there. We're both taking Oregon in it, but I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup, obviously. And don't forget, just sign in, and you got it right there. That game kicks off 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. You can watch it on ABC. You can stream it live in the ESPN app. And, of course, it's always on the Pac-12 network as well. All right, let's get back to some of today's action. Notre Dame, talking about guys taking care of business. Notre Dame's got 2 cupcakes left on their sky. I shouldn't say Georgia Tech's not a cupcake. Georgia Tech deserves a little bit more respect than that. But we knew this wasn't going to be a good matchup. Notre Dame finishes their season with 2 easy games ahead of them, but they need to take care of business, and they did today, 55-0 over Georgia Tech. I think this also speaks to what we've talked about. You got to make sure that you answer every single question. And if you're Notre Dame, you can't answer it by who you beat, so you can only answer it by how you beat them.
I said this is statement week.
Yeah.
Everybody has made a statement. Now, Notre Dame has made one as well. 55-0. That is their largest win of margin in a game since 1996. I mean, they balled out of control in this one, as I like to say. I was impressed with what they did. And we've been talking for the last couple of weeks of how they actually have a path towards the playoff. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of chaos, but it's chaos that's there to be had. I mean, that's the funny thing. Now, I mean, their reward will be getting their just tails kicked in by Georgia. But hey, whatever. That's the one thing that's funny. We're all so worried about who the 4 seed is, and I keep sitting here thinking all they're going to do is get beat by 40 by Georgia. But that's fine. Jack Cohn, by the way, had a nice day. 15-20, 285 and 2 touchdowns. So good work by him. All right, let's keep the highlights coming for you. And this one, Iowa State versus Oklahoma. Hell of a game. Oklahoma looking to get back on the winning track. Breece Hall here.
Another game with a rushing touchdown. 23rd straight game, I think it is for him. This guy just loves the end zone.
Cyclones up 7-0 early. Caleb Williams here says, you know what? I can run too. And look at that, a little bit of Gallup first, and then
Where's this been?
all of a sudden the Sooners have tied this thing up at 7 apiece. Ooh, Caleb turning around, getting a little running there too.
Yeah, last quarterback to have a long rushing touchdown like that was Kyler Murray, 75. That was 74.
Woo, second quarter here. Brock so Purdy scrambling around, but then he gets hit. Look at this hit he takes. Oh, you got to hold on to the ball, brother.
Guess what this is, Fitz? What we call this, Fitz?
Oh, is he thick enough to be a thick six?
I'm going to call it a thick six, man. I'm going to call it a thick six. I see the belly.
The difference is, Booger, we're going to credit Mike Golick Jr. with thick six. That's how it's done. Third quarter. Williams looks, rolls out.
This is a beautiful
There's
throw.
a strike here to Super Mario Williams.
Oh, man, I love when quarterbacks just throw with so much confidence and swagger like that on the throw. I think he's got his swagger back.
So Purdy's got his swagger here. Look at that pass. Charlie Kolar in the back of the end zone. Cyclones pull within 7.
Kolar,
so we'll pick it up.
tough
Last
tight end.
chance here. 21-28. Purdy. He's gonna see that pass again in his sleep over and over and over again. It sails on him. He knows what he did. This is an Iowa State team full of a lot of veteran leaders. It's an Iowa State team that has been through sort of the growth of the program. And I don't think this is the way those leaders saw this going. They gave Oklahoma everything they could handle. Caleb Williams, 8 of 18, 87, the touchdown and a pick. Heck, we saw Spencer Rattler back in this game.
That again,
Oklahoma didn't look, yet again, Oklahoma didn't look impressive, but they get the win, and that counts for something.
Exactly. You got to win at the end of the day to get the win. But if you want to climb up in the rankings, it's got to be a statement win. Not much of a statement in that performance. And Caleb Williams, I don't know what's been going on with him. It's kind of been a decline for him. And it's as if they have a lot of questions at quarterback. And I think, for me, truthfully, just watching it, his confidence might have taken a hit, especially what happened last week when he got his hand stepped on and then the coach is bringing in Spencer Rattler in and out, and then he brings Spencer Rattler in again. Over here, some confusion over there, and it seems like they're on the downtrend.
Yeah, Oklahoma's just not playing great football, and none of their quarterbacks look particularly comfortable. And at the end of the day, that's what we think of so often for Lincoln Riley. He's the quarterback whisperer because he makes quarterbacks comfortable. Right now, that hasn't happened. So they're going to have to take a real look introspectively this offseason at what it takes to get these guys to click, because whatever has worked for quarterbacks in the past is not working for quarterbacks in the present. All right, let's move next to Nebraska taking on Wisconsin. Just makes me want cheese curds even saying this.
They're on fire. I
mean, cheese curds are such a delight. The opening kickoff here was a delight. You know how we like to start things? Oh, the only thing tastier than cheese curds? This return, Stephen Bracey, 91 yards.
Oh, my Lord. That boy got more moves than Michael Jackson. Way to get in the end zone.
7-0 with the early lead. Picking it up here. Nebraska's Marquise Stepp plows through for the touchdown. Look at that. I just love it when you've got somebody that it looks like he's got nowhere to go, and then he says, my legs? I did not skip leg day, good sir.
He lifts, does deadlifts, cleans, all that. He does it all.
I do squats, and I can barely get off the toilet for a week. All right, Braylon Allen bounces off defenders. I don't know why I felt like I should share that. Turns on the burners. It goes all the way here. I got scrawny little chicken legs. All right, that gets us to 14-7 for the Badgers.
Man, another 100-yard game for Allen. 7 straight.
Graham Mertz here makes the pass to Kendrick Pryor. Look at that touchdown. The Badgers go up 21-14 at that point. This was a really good game. Fourth quarter, Nebraska's Marvin Scott.
They're always in a shootout.
Really good vision there. Huskers tie at 28-28. But then the ball goes back to Braylon Allen.
Allen!
Oh, look at him shed. No, sir. Get off of me. I got scoring to do.
Hey, man, that's 7 straight 100-yard games is the longest streak in FBS. And Wisconsin is 6-0 in games where he rushes over 100 yards. So when he goes off like this, they can't be beaten.
35-28, and Braylon with 22 rushes, 228 and 3 touchdowns. Let's just quickly say it. Everybody can. We've all decided Ohio State is likely to win their way through the Big Ten. But at the end of the day, the one thing that we've heard the committee say several times is they love Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin continually ranked, and Wisconsin gets this win, running the football really effectively. The thought today for Michigan State versus Ohio State was maybe they could get Kenneth Walker going and they could keep C.J. Stroud off the field. That didn't work out. But if you're Wisconsin, you got to look at it and say, hey, in the Big Ten championship game, if we get Ohio State, we know that we can run the football. Maybe. I mean, I'm just trying to find hope for some sort of a different outcome that's less predictable. But through it all, we're not sure. I just think we've maybe glossed over Wisconsin being a pretty good football team this year.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the best compliment towards offense that's explosive is have a running attack. Have offense that can keep that other offense off the field and maintain that clock. And this Wisconsin team beat a good Nebraska team. Now, let's not get it twisted. Nebraska is good. And with this loss, this is another single-digit loss for them. They've had 8 of those this season. That is the most single-digit loss in a season for Indiana since 1984. So this is really
for Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. You're right. Somebody tweeted out, "Is Nebraska the best 3-win team in college football history?" Which is laughable to say.
They might be
true. All right, let's move to Illinois, Iowa. Another big game in the Big Ten today. Nothing says warming up like, kickers getting ready to kick. Got that tunnel vision right there. Illinois' Brandon Peters goes to a wide-open Luke Ford. Luke Ford's such a good, Illinois football name. They take the early 7-0 lead. Iowa's Charlie Jones says, you know what? Me and Mrs. Jones. There we go.
Jones.
There we go.
Who? Charlie Jones.
Look at that return.
Incredible, man. He's a great returner, and he does a lot for Iowa back there.
Iowa closes the gap to 10-7 in the second quarter. Iowa's Arlen Bruce gets a nice little run there. Camera was totally lost in what was happening. I love that. Anytime you fool the camera, guys, you get an extra slice of pie at Thanksgiving. That's your reward. Iowa's up 14-0. We pick it up in the fourth. Brandon Peters intercepted by Jack Campbell here. Jack Campbell takes it in for another defensive touchdown for the Hawkeyes, sort of one of their specialties in turnovers this year.
That's how they started the year.
That put them up at the time 33-16. They hang on to get this win 33-23 in a hard-fought game back and forth between those two teams. So good win for once highly thought of Iowa team. Oh, the sounds of the cow. You ever milked a cow, Scooby?
No, I've heard it's an experience unlike any other.
I've never milked a cow either.
I lived in Iowa and I still didn't do it.
I thought maybe, I lived in the South for a long time. You would think that I don't know how I've managed to make America uncomfortable again. This is Holy Cow. We won't milk any cows, but we will rank plays. Are you ready for this?
Let's go!
All right, Scooby, you can go up first. We've got Clemson running back Will Shipley here. Look at that.
Ooh, okay. It was like a layup.
A little jump pass.
Snatched it one-handed. I like that. That's great execution. That's backyard football type stuff. I'm going to get out of 90.
Oh, you give that a 90?
A 90, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good today.
You know what? I like that. I like that we're in the judging spirit of positivity. I will try and keep that going with a little bit of Louisville love. I don't know if you saw this the other night, but Malik Cunningham, this is one of the main plays for Malik. Look at this 72-yard.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh. Look at that. Just absolutely going for it. Cunningham had 300 yards passing, 200 yards rushing in the game. First quarterback since Marquez Tuiasosopo to accomplish that.
Lamar-esque.
Yeah, it was very Lamar-esque. And mostly when you let me say Marquez Tuiasosopo, famed Madden legend in 2003, Raider backup at the time, that means you're going to get a high grade. I'm going to give it 100.
Ooh.
You get that sort of night, 300 on the air, 200 on the ground, you get 100 for whatever highlight we show. Let's go to Clemson here. Clemson receiver Bo Collins with a one-hander catch. Look at this one. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Put the bread in the basket.
That was smooth. Uliangalele with the dope pass to your boy. And then the way he just took off on him after. Fitz, 92. I like the 92 in this one.
92 stronger than that. Whoever wrote the caption on the bottom that said, Bo, leave it, that's 100. All right, next up. I love it when you lay out for it. Look at this catch. One-handed grab. We showed it earlier. It might be one of the prettiest catches of the year. Mostly because when you see it from the other angle, too, like the fact that this one here, look at him juggle it, hold on to it.
Great concentration, man.
And then no movement from the football when it hits the ground. Like, that is beast mode. I'm going to give that a 98. Look at me. I'm all willy-nilly with the big grades today. Like, cradling the football like a little precious baby. All right, Scooby, let's get a little Iowa State loving here. Breece Hall, look at this catch from him. This is a running back, mind you. Oh,
Breece Hall. He does more than just run the ball.
That rhymed on purpose, by the way. But that is a nice catch, great concentration, and he didn't even really bobble it that much. Got it right in his hand. I'm going to get this one. Another one in the 90s, Fitz.
Look at that. We are just feeling generous right now. I'll keep that generosity going. Look at this Wisconsin run from Braylon Allen, who just says, no. Ooh, I mean, that right there, when he just, trucks in. He hits the truck button and then the turbo button, and look at him outrun. Look at it.
You can just hear the right stick going up.
I mean, that right there. That where he says, sir, I'm a man and I must score.
Move.
Oh, move, get out the way. All the way to a 99.
Oh, no!
I'm giving this one a 99.
I like that.
You know what? It's just a season of positivity. It's a season of positivity. Those are some of your best plays. That's a cow. You're watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. As always, you can hang out with us. We're going to get you caught up on all the action from today. Here's some of the big scores in case you missed them. Notre Dame with a blowout. Michigan with a blowout. Cincinnati with a blowout. Georgia with a blowout. Notice the theme? Alabama with a tight game against Arkansas. That's some of your best action from today. And now we'll get to our countdown to the CFB National Championship. AT&T countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship. The Big Ten showdown between number 7 Michigan State, number 4 Ohio State. C.J. Stroud and the Buckeyes, not only in the hunt, but Stroud in the Heisman race. We'll get to that in just a minute. Olave, 23-yard touchdown, and the fancy handshake. We need one of those. Up 7-0. Then Stroud finds Garrett Wilson for the 77-yard touchdown. Mr. Wilson! 14-0 Buckeyes there. And Stroud says, you know what? This is so much fun. Gonna do it again. Olave, oh. Look at that. Look it up, kids. It's a song. Touchdown here, 43-yarder. That's Ohio State up 21-0 in the first quarter, for those of you keeping track at home. But if you think, well, you know what? He needs to do this to more receivers. How about also getting Jackson Smith and Jigba in on the fun? Everybody gets a touchdown. You get a touchdown.
Man,
you get a
this
touchdown.
wide
And
receiver
you
crew,
get a touchdown.
Another game with all three of them getting 100-yard receiving, Fitz. That's insane. I think it's the first group to do that in like 25 years.
And the fact that you can make a reasonable case all three of them will be playing on Sunday created a real conversation for us, because obviously when we start talking about the countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship, Ohio State took care of business. They would be my number 2 team. But what's also interesting to me is the numbers that they put up offensively. When you start thinking about the number of points, yards, passing yards, all in the first half, I think we've got a graphic on this, 49 points in the first half, 500 yards in the first half, 393 passing yards in the first half. Like, we're not talking about the game against the number 7 team in the country in the first half, Scooby.
Yeah, I mean, they were on pace to have 1,000, score 100. It was insane to see this type of performance from them. And C.J. Stroud literally had his best game of his entire career. And other people saw it. Patrick Mahomes, 6 touchdowns, 40 yards, 2 completions in the first half. Yes, it is video game-like. It is even more than Mahomes-like. Mahomes has thrown for 400 yards in the first half in his college career. I think he did about once or twice, but he's never thrown for 6 touchdowns in one half. And to have that type of efficiency from C.J. Stroud is insane. This was that Heisman performance. We talked about it coming into this game, that either him or Kenneth Walker could literally snatch away this Heisman race with a legendary performance, and C.J. Stroud answered the call.
Well, yeah, let's go there for a second, because for anyone that doesn't know, Scooby, you do great work with the Heisman show that just started, and that's you, Christine Williamson, and Harry Douglas, right? So you guys were hanging out this week talking Heisman, right?
Yes,
so your head's in this space. Was this the Heisman cementing performance in your mind for CJ?
I had Bryce Young and then CJ right after him for Heisman. And Bryce Young right now is playing at a very Heisman-like level. He just set the Alabama passing record for one in a game. But CJ Stroud, this performance right here, to do it in 2.5 quarters. I don't even want to say it's 2.5. He really did it in 2 quarters. Just 3 incompletions. I said to you, Fitz, let me stand across the room. Throw the ball to me 35 times, and let's see if you're going to have 3 incompletions. He did that against the 7th-ranked team in the country, 6 passing touchdowns, and he could have done a lot more. This was the Heisman performance. I know he has players around him, as Christine has mentioned, that are maybe better than him, that make him look good. But Harry and I said, if your quarterback is poo-poo, then you guys can't make those plays. And their quarterback is not poo-poo because he's making some great throws, and you even saw them as well.
Yeah, you did a great job of pointing out, too. I mean, the little nuances of C.J. Stroud's movements with his head and eyes and looking people off was helping. Yes, he's got guys wide open, but part of the reason those guys were wide open is because he was tricking safeties with the way he was designing his head. So, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And by the way, you can check out Scooby and Christine on the Heisman Show every single Wednesday. So, doing great work there. In the meantime, let's get you caught up on the ACC. Because if you haven't seen the ACC standings, Wake Forest, undefeated. Clemson, 2 losses. So, today's matchup, and Pitt on the other side, on the Coastal, sitting 1 game ahead of Virginia. So what we had today was a battle for first place in the Coastal and a battle. So we'll pick up that Virginia-Pitt highlight first. Pitt fans fired up for this one. Understandably so, a lot on the line. Virginia's Brennan Armstrong, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, fires it to Thompson for an easy touchdown. Virginia up 7-0. Pick it up in the second quarter. Mike Hollins spins it into the end zone. Look at that spin move.
Nice work there.
Virginia ties it up again, 14-14 at that point. Now, Israel Abanikanda don't want none. Why? Unless you got buns, son.
That fire, well done.
Buns in the form of 6. That is a heck of a return. 21-14. Picking it up in the fourth quarter. Heisman candidate, Kenny Pickett, rolling out here.
He's also in the discussion.
Throws it to Addison, who, by the way, is on
That's why you come back to the ball, receivers.
Yeah, that's why everybody loves him. He's a Biletnikoff semifinalist at this point for wide receiver of the year. That one's going to seal it. Pitt is your 2021 ACC Coastal Champions by way of a 48-38 win over Virginia. 10-point win. Brendan Armstrong came back in this game. Remember, he had an injury that caused him to miss the last game. Was very good in this, but it wasn't enough to get it done. Addison, as I mentioned, 14 catches, 202 yards, 4 touchdowns, was absolutely unstoppable. So Pittsburgh will now await the winner of the Atlantic side in the ACC.
Dabo.
And what do we have here? We have Dabo running the field, getting ready for it.
He's fired up. He's never lost to them. You know that?
Oh, my God. Number 10, Wake Forest. Look at that direct snap. Will Shipley takes it. We saw it a minute ago, the jump pass.
Yep, it was a great play. I mean, they
Nice
came in
design.
this game with a different type of mindset. They haven't really played that great lately, but the way that they came into this game, you could tell the coaching staff had them ready to play.
17-10 at the half. Christian Turner runs up the middle and fumbles. Clemson ball. Kobe Pace now going to run it in for an 8-yard touchdown. That puts Clemson's up 24-10. It kept feeling like Wake Forest was going to wake up, and they just couldn't. Now we pick it up here. Uiagalelei to Bo Collins with the biscuit in the basket. 58-yard touchdown.
Wow.
Beautiful work. Just a ridiculous catch.
Uiagalelei, I mean, is this the game that kind of gets him right?
I mean, if you're Clemson, you got to hope so. But Clemson gets the big win. Now, that puts them is your final score on that. There's one game left, and Wake Forest's next game is against Boston College. So I got to feel like Wake Forest is going to be fine. They'll take care of business, and we'll end up with Wake Forest in the ACC championship game. But Clemson has made it at least a little more interesting for another week. So we shall see.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm a beacon of light in the dark world. Scooby, I love some positivity. We've celebrated a ton of them. But now we get to laugh at some of the bad the way only we can. Bruh, delivered by Pizza Hut. Let's take a look at some of the more interesting plays from today in the world of college football. And we start 3rd and 8, Wake Forest. Can't take down DJ Uiagalelei just because I wanted to prove I can still say his last name.
My Lord. Wake Forest, wake up!
And then it's up, and away.
Oh, my gosh.
Bruh to the defense on that. Just the number of misses.
What is going on in this play? DJ Uiagalelei is a big dude, and you got big dudes trying to hand tackle him? Come on, man. This is football, bruh. Go ahead and make the tackle.
All right, let's move next to Purdue. Somebody put a banana on the field. I don't know if that. Ekrin attempted the kickoff but slipped. Northwestern couldn't recover. Purdue gets possession. I mean, that's a brilliant way to try an onside kick, right?
Oh, my Lord. Hey, bro, this is why they say kickers aren't that athletic. And right here is a clear depiction of that. Bruh, show off your athleticism, but hey, you can go ahead and say it happened on purpose because you got the ball back.
Let's move next to a little bit of lack of defense. Kristen Vayu finds Malik Mega for a 67-yard touchdown, which leaves the question of, bruh, did Rutgers just decide not to put anybody on the field?
Oh, man, they must have turned the game sliders up or something on this play because this was easy. Fitz, what's going on here, bruh?
Yeah, this is the classic, I got him, I don't got him. You got him? Sort of scenario. Speaking of which, we can't do bruh without getting a little bit of UConn love in.
Oh, my Lord.
Look at this. They cannot tackle Mikey Keene. Look at this, just going all over the place. UConn saying, we're really a basketball school? That's really the only thing they can say.
Oh, my gosh. Mikey Keene said, I got the team on my back. Quarterback down, UCF, because that was sorry.
All right, Maryland, College Park. If you've attended every game this season, you may be in luck. 5 student finalists will be announced at the start of the 3rd quarter. If you win, you can travel with the team to Rutgers?
Who?
Rutgers?
Rutgers?
I mean,
who?
Look, Maryland, like
what?
I used to love going to College Park. Great party town, great party area. A lot of good at Maryland, but apparently spelling is optional. Like, how do they not have something in there that can help whoever's typing that into the screen?
That is a disappointment, Fitz. And you thought they could do something right.
All right, bruh. The Chanticleers. Celebrating their victory with an eating competition. Look, I've watched Mike Golick Jr. try this. Everybody thinks you can take down Joey Chestnut in something, and you can't. I'm just telling you, there is no way to take down Joey Chestnut. Mike can eat more than anybody I've ever seen, and I've watched him be humiliated. So, bruh, we all just need to stop trying.
Stop trying this, man. Joey Chestnut is a legend, even though he's eaten so many hot dogs that he's already died like 10 years ago.
You know, I've been the sideline reporter at the hot dog contest the last couple of years, working that with Mike. I'm telling you, Joey Chestnut's superhuman. You can't tell me otherwise. You also can't tell me otherwise that there isn't some awesome action tonight. Ole Miss already up on Vandy. Auburn already up on South Carolina. Miami already up on Virginia Tech. Look at that. Scores everywhere. But the game with no score right now, Oregon, Utah, we're going to take a look at that as we speak. Utah with the ball. And Utah already at midfield. We're just about 2 minutes into this. This game is on ABC. Remember, you can authenticate and watch it directly here if you're watching this in the ESPN app. If you're not, you should be. And by the way, if you've never tuned into the College Football Show, we're one of many shows on the digital family that you can check out in the ESPN app on Twitter, YouTube. So be sure to keep a lookout. We're really proud of the work we do here. Utah moving the ball early. Question for you, Scooby. Does style points matter in a day where we've seen so much style from everybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Is there pressure on Oregon to deliver with style or just to deliver?
Ooh, nah, they got to deliver with style in this game because the committee is going to sit down this week, this upcoming week, and they're these teams were and the type of performances that they put up. And they're going to look at all the numbers because right now the little things matter, right? Because we're getting to that point where the little things are going to make a difference between two different teams that have a right to be in that top 4.
Yeah, you're not wrong about any of that. Utah's going to have to make sure they're getting the ball out of their hands quickly, too. I'm interested to see how they combat Kayvon
Thirbett.
Thibodeau.
15, they got the too high safety look. That means they just want everything thrown in front of them, come up and make the tackle. Easy.
Offensive line is such an under-talked about portion of all of this in football. And you know, I've heard Levitard mention it before when it comes to the NFL draft. And, like, realistically, most of us don't really know what we're looking for when it comes to linemen. So we don't really know how to break it down. But the line is so key in this because we know that Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be a disruptor. So the question is, how are they going to adjust their protection to make sure that they keep themselves moving forward? So, you know, I always think that's interesting, especially in big passing situations like we just saw.
The battle is always won up front, right? Right in the trenches. It doesn't matter what level you play in. The big guys are really what allow the little guys to be able to do things. And they never get as much love as the quarterbacks or the wide receivers or the running backs because they're not as pretty. You know, it doesn't get as much glory. But they are the ones who do what is needed in order to win these games. And that's why they should get more love.
Anthony Brown, that you're on here, the Oregon starting quarterback, really effective runner, as we mentioned earlier when we were previewing this game, and important to know that because, again, I think, you know, it's expected here that Oregon's going to try and really assert themselves in their ability to run, especially around the edges. Let's see how Utah's prepared for it. And there we're seeing an edge run right there.
Yeah, I've always said the best third down play is first and second down. Because you want to be able to put yourself in better position. We saw what Utah did on their first couple downs. They were going backwards. What was it, 3rd and 15 when they punted, 4th and 15 when they punted the ball?
Yeah.
So just continue to try churn out some positive yards. Right now, you want to get yourself in something that's a little under 3rd and 6. So you can have a down where it's not predictable. It's a situation where you can run or pass the ball.
And there you get the unforced errors.
Like I said, going backwards.
I just, you know, the more we watch today, I'm just constantly reminded about the nuance of how unforced errors, like you're a Patriots fan, and we're both part of the Man in the Arena after show reaction, and just watching the way the Patriots attack any sort of pre-snap errors and the way that they don't basically hurt themselves came to mind when watching some of the action today and hearing some of the coaches. You know, Arkansas actually brought officials into practice this week to help them because of their unforced errors in practice, and then they still happened today on the field against Alabama. When you see a false start in a situation like this, it's so frustrating because at the end, it's such a discipline-orientated moment here where you just got to play within what your job is.
Now they're in a predictable situation, right? If you're on Utah, you know that they're going to throw the ball. They're going to try and get to the sticks. It fits. This is a game where Oregon really needs to make a statement, as we mentioned. I mean, I'm looking right now at the playoff predictor, and as of 7/18, Oregon is 9th. Their chances to make the playoff right now, the predictor says they have a 6.2% chance.
Wow.
They got Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Cincinnati in front of them. And the people are looking at Oregon as a 6.2% chance to make the playoffs.
Well, one thing I know is that crowd was fired up. I can't wait to see that again. You can watch that on ABC or in the ESPN app right now. Oh, Scooby, are you ready to get weird?
Let's get twisted, Fitz.
Let's drop in as we take a look at some of the crazy and twisted plays from Week 12 presented by Twisted Tea. And we start with our guy, Sam Hartman. We love this guy just because he's dashingly good looking.
With the
and
beard,
he's got a great beard. Yep. But look at the catch.
Ooh.
Oh, Jakari Robertson catches it and presses the spin button all at once. Look at that.
Hey, Fitz, I ask you this every week. Was that the gloves?
Oh, yeah, 100% that was the gloves. But still, I mean, it's a nice little reach, like getting up there and going for it. I'm all in for that.
Yeah, respect to that.
I'm all in for this one from North Colorado. Look at this. Alec Lewis. Pass is tipped.
Whoops.
Cassidy Woods. And then Dylan Thomas
Emo sure got that booty, some Pirates booty, because he got paid right there. Reservations for 6.
I love any time that we see the spin like that, too. The spin is so elegant. Look at it. Just how they drew it up. They practiced it this way. Tip it.
That is
Flip
nice,
it.
man. That is
Take
nice.
it to the house. And UTSA's Frank Harris finds Zachary Franklin on this one. Look at this grab.
Ooh,
Meep,
okay.
effing meep. That's the way it's done.
That's how you make it look easy
Now, see,
peasy.
I'm all in for this not being the gloves, because anytime your body's going one way and you can go gadget arms, get your hand to go the other way.
Like Yaga.
Oh, man.
That's nice.
Man.
And he kept it in the same hand the whole time. Like, that's when you know what to
Yeah, the way you just yelled that makes me want to go yabba dabba doo somewhere in some sort of a highlight. I'm going to make that a thing. That's called dropping in. That's how we drop in by Twisted Tea.
Woo, all right, Fitz. This is my favorite part, routed.
Let's
Wide
go, baby.
receivers are artists. And today we're going to show you some Picassos of how they mixed up the DBs in this week's routed. Let's check it out on some of the best ones we saw this week. And it starts with Ohio State's Garrett Wilson for the short touchdown on the slant route. You know why he's so wide open, Fitz? Because it's about the move that he hit him with over here. You're going to line up one-on-one and give him that much space. If you do that, you're going to have a bad day. Another look. You stab to the direction that you make him think you're going and come back to the inside. 7 catches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, routed. Now to the next one. We got Milton Wright. He was blowing dudes up in this game. Look at him cook the Northwestern DB up for a 53-yard touchdown. And Fitz, he literally cooked this dude up like the ladder drill. This is why you do it. Quick feet like that right there.
I mean, just...
He had 8 catches, 213 yards, and 3 touchdowns, routed. Way to make a move on the DB. And then they tried to bring another guy to him, like they were going to be able to stop him. And this route is the one that dudes do to you to literally route you. We call that a hitch and go. And sir, you should have hitched and knowed. Check this out. He got the entire defense worried, stopped, acted like he was about to run the hitch, and the moment that DB tried to bite for it, took off. This is quick feet, boom, boom, got him, and that's how you route your DB. This guy was a monster today, and that was reservation for 6. I love when they do it like that, Fitz.
That's well done by you, Scooby. Well done. All right. It's because we'll do that next week. This week for Fitz's 4, we decided that we'd rank the 4 things that I'm not thankful for in college football. The 4 things that college football just needs to get rid of. The 4 things I like the least. Number 4, turnover chains. I got so many issues with turnover chains in general. Number 1, you don't get to keep them. Like you're wearing it for a second, you're giving it back. I'm not in for any of that. Like plus the whole display a little forced. Now we've got turnover Tonka trucks next, what turnover Inspector Gadget gown, what are we doing?
It was cool when Miami was the first school to do it, and I was like, yo, that's fire, turnover chain. And then people just started to get out of control with it, and I was like, all right,
yeah,
y'all need it.
Like so many things, it was cool for a second, and then at number 3, and this really plays in today, cupcakes. Now I love actual cupcakes, and I prefer them with cream cheese frosting on the top, and the more frosting, the better. I need a ton of frosting on my cupcakes, but on my college football schedule, I hate it. At the end of the day, I understand that the NCAA allows this, but the fact that every conference doesn't schedule the same, the fact that I got to try and find some interesting thing about a Georgia opponent that nobody cares about, that stinks. Number 2 on my list, targeting. We all know the targeting penalty absolutely stinks. There's got to be some version of it that allows for non-ejection, right? I think we can agree on that. And at the top of the list of the things we're not thankful for in college football, I'm going college football overtime. Yeah, the NFL overtime is better. I don't want to see everybody get the ball so close to the end zone that essentially we're just bastardizing whatever football looks like. And then 2-point conversions at some point. No, I'm out on all of that.
Exactly, because you want to see, let's put together a drive and see if you're actually a better football team than me. And I think
just let the kickers start kicking from the 50-yard line. A second to thank some of the people that work behind the scenes. We want to take a second and thank Jonas St. Preux. He's one of the people behind the scenes that you don't see on the camera, but he works his butt off to make this show happen all the time. He's going on to a different department at ESPN. He's going to be part of our social division instead. We're wishing him a ton of luck. We're bummed he's not going to be here with us on Saturdays because my guy does great work, does consistent work, and always does it with a smile. Like, he's just one of the best.
Thank you. Good luck.
And we also, by the way, got to give Drew Schiavi, our director, a shout-out, too, because Drew pulled. There are so many people that work really hard behind the scenes so that Skubie and I can sit up here and look like idiots. It actually takes an entire village of smart people for the two of us to do what we do. We appreciate you guys taking the time to watch with us every single week. Skubie and I will be back in these chairs at 11 o'clock tonight for the wrap-up. Be sure to check it out and check out all of our great digital shows across the ESPN platforms for your college football needs. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. I say it every week, and we mean it every week. We're so thankful you choose to give us some of your time to just sit here and talk about college football. As always, come back next week. This has been the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G.